Beers and Banter, episode 48. We've got fan favourite John from My Lure Box in the house tonight. We might talk a little bit of sport, but what I really want to hear about is his trip around Australia. Let's rip in. As always, we're really appreciative of the support from the guys at Gripstar Socks. Gripstar Anti-Slip Socks feature panels that create traction that improves speed, acceleration and stability. Gripstar socks are designed to deliver maximum comfort and flexibility, featuring a breathable mesh design that removes sweat and reduces odours. Perfect for high movement sports, working on your feet or lounging safely at home. Seriously grippy. John, welcome back.
Good to be back, Matty. I can't believe it's been nearly 2 years, you're saying?
July 2019.
God, crazy.
Feels like yesterday we were in here talking about UFOs and Bob Lazar and
it
mushrooms.
went sideways late in the podcast. It was a bit of fun.
It was good. Hopefully we might get there later on. We're back on the ginger beers, which is...
Cheers, Matty.
The ginger beers have been treating me well lately, actually.
Yeah, well done.
I've been substituting them in a few on the school nights, a few ginger beers. Mate, what's been happening? How you been?
Really good, really good. It's been a while since we've caught up, obviously, and mate, there's a lot happening at this point. There's heaps happening at this point. We're packing to go around the country. We got held up. We were due to do it last year, got held up. So I realise now that we're right in the thick of it. We're about 2 weeks away from leaving.
Oh, yeah.
That I was massively underprepared when we were planning on leaving last year. So it's been a really steep ramp, big learning curve, but it's on.
I'm frothing to hear all about this because my headspace for the last 3 or 4 months was we're going.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people around Australia. There's different Facebook groups you can follow. There's a lot of families that are feeling the same thing. Like the great Aussie dream is no longer 3-bed, 2-bath, rocking chair out the back. It is live free, get out and get amongst it.
Go and see it all. Yeah. Well, it's exciting. So it's all about to take off. We're not far away, but yeah. So kids are excited. They don't know what's happening. They're 3 and 6, so they just saw their beds leave for a marketplace sale today, and they're on the mattress on the floor tonight. So it's
on the
interesting.
blow up. On the blow up.
We got mattresses down, and they think it's fabulous, but they don't know what's happening.
Well, I was going to talk some sport.
Yeah,
but Titans on fire. Great season for the Titans. It's so good to have some good news to talk about, and there's a lot of Gold Coasters in the team, which is even better.
Yeah.
So
it's in a beautiful spot.
Watching AJ Brimson and Kalen Ponga go at it was just so good for Queenslanders on the weekend. Yeah. Two number ones, 2 young blokes that'll just be battling it out for the next 10 years probably.
Mate, I remember last time I was here, it was painful.
Yeah,
we're in a tough spot.
Yeah, July 2019, we'll probably been relocated to Perth or something at that stage. So
to see it come around and how it's going now, it's brilliant.
Coach has just changed things, turned things around.
Yeah,
players want to come and play at the Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's amazing what leadership does. Really good leadership, what it does to players.
I think I was talking to someone on the weekend about the potential ramifications to even on the AFL team about all the Victorians having to spend time here last year going, hang on, this what? This is the middle of winter?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
So I think the Gold Coast and the Suns, the Titans and the Suns will be beneficiaries of that, a bit of that COVID lockdown because everyone's like, oh yeah, I'd rather train here than in the middle of Melbourne during winter.
Yeah. We could do with any of that talent that comes up from down there.
I haven't been following the Suns as closely this year, but definitely just riding high on the Titans at the moment.
Yeah. I haven't followed them closely like you guys have for a while.
Yeah.
But boy, I've been getting excited watching them. They're playing an exciting brand of football. It's good young players there. It's great. It's great. Really good.
Well, what about closer to your expertise? What's happening in the football world on the coast?
It's all kicking off and things have been delayed. There's been rain delays, obviously, for everyone in junior sport and then locally on the coast. But the Gold Coast United and the Knights are the 2 teams in the NPL, and they're both strong teams. And the local competition has only just sort of kicked off. They've had big delays, so I sort of follow things really close to home. So what's happening on the Gold Coast locally, and I'm sort of more tied to the youth because I'm a school teacher at down at
Yep.
Palm Beach Grumman. So
Yep.
I sort of follow the way that the youth track into sport, whether that's football now or so soccer or rugby league or AFL. So I sort of stick a lot closer to that because that's where my stomping ground is with those kids.
We hammered you about the rugby league last time, but then I turned off the pod and went, hang on, we didn't even pick your brain about the soccer, kids coming through playing soccer and what's exciting, what talent's there and where are they off to. And
let me give you listeners a little insight into what I see with youth sport because it's really exciting.
Yeah.
Especially from where I come from, because the programs down at the school. But what I see is that the technicality of some of the soccer players coming through is unbelievable. There's been things that have happened from the FFA that have pushed a lot of that. But with rugby league at the school, what I've seen in the last probably 18 months, and I think it's come on the back of Meninga with his influence with the Titans.
Yep.
There's players that are getting signed and looked at more closely by the Titans. From my experience, the conversations that I'm having, and they're not going searching down south as much. They're getting picked up and they're more aligned to get into the Titans.
The Titans had a policy there pre-Meninga not to sign a kid before a certain age.
Right.
So what do you think happened? They all signed somewhere else.
They start looking somewhere else. They get excited and they'll take something that gets pushed towards them early. And then I remember the day I read it on the back page, Meninga coming saying we're not going to bleed elsewhere, and I can see that starting to happen. So there's a lot of boys with contracts that are young coming out of our school now. It's great.
It was like that when I was younger, but they were Broncos.
Yeah.
The top 3 or 4 kids in your team had Broncos deals.
Yeah.
Because that was probably the Chargers had probably just been booted back out, and probably broken record here, but in that time between 98 and 2006, the Gold Coast or Greater Northern Gold Coast, like Logan, produced 4 Immortals.
Yeah.
The greater, outside of Brisbane, you produced Cam Smith, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk.
Yeah.
And they should have come to the Gold Coast because they were passed on by imagine if we were here at that time.
Watch what success happens, what that brings. I'm so excited for it. I'm talking about it with all my mates and the guys that are in the loop of rugby league. That's where the kids get excited to play.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall because now there's like Keebra boys and Palm Beach boys or in the Titans mix. So I'm sure there's some inner rivalry there. But it's forming some great combinations, which is what excites me.
So that's where most of my attention is at the moment with youth sport and how the kids are progressing and what they're doing to get into that next level.
Any of the kids going to Tokyo?
Not that I know of at this point. Yeah.
Is Australia qualified for Tokyo?
I haven't followed that closely enough.
I should have looked that up before I asked you.
Yeah, no, I'm not in on that at the moment. Headspace has been heavily dominated by packing, prepping, looking, and trying to work things out to get around the country, mate. So I'm a little bit off the sport wagon.
So I've been watching you. You're amazing. You're a great. You're really kind to your followers because I've been watching you. You've been mailing out lures to everybody, trying to clean the garage out.
Mate, it's been awesome.
It's really good.
I'll tell you what it's done. It's reminded me why I've done it for such a long time.
Yeah.
What a great audience actually means to you, because what I've been doing, I went into my garage. My wife gave me 4 days to clean it out and get it ready, and that's now 2 weeks down the track. It's still not there, but there's probably been over 300 fishing lures and about 60 packs of fishing DVDs and lures go out to, firstly, kids, and the adults are getting a little divvy up this week. But the stories and the photos and things that have come back now that I'm a dad and I realise I get it, is that there are a lot of kids out there that love getting out on the water, and their parents froth it. They love it. And seeing the smiles on their faces with those giveaways, I'm going to do those giveaways forever from this point on.
Awesome.
That's my channel now. Is there's going to be a big give back.
I want to show you my box.
Give me your box. Give me a look.
I wanted you to give me a lure box review and see what's garbage in there, what can go straight in the bin, and what I should be getting fish on.
I haven't done a lot of these curations, and none of them have ever been filmed or on a podcast, mate. So
exclusive.
I get very jealous, regardless. And yeah, you've got some crackers in here. I'll use the camera to talk. Wow, you mate. Because when I came here last time, we were talking and we were trying to get you off the mark. Have you caught some fish since?
Not a lot.
Right.
But
I
this
did see a couple come
I don't
through.
mind this the 3D shrimp from Savage Gear.
Yep. You're onto a winner there.
We got a snapper in the Broadwater on that, and then you get snapper to flathead.
Yeah. So that TPE shrimp is it's like a scanned version of a shrimp, and it's got these legs. It's weedless, like you said. That little thing will catch absolutely everything in the estuaries.
But I've got a little dad confession here. That's my go-to for the kids now.
Yeah.
Because
I love it.
It's weedless.
Yeah.
I don't have to rebait their hook all the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get caught on everything. So
yeah.
Am I a bad parent for doing that?
Mate, that's the key, because the kids are enjoying it and they're not snapping lines, and you're not having to retie, and you're not losing all that downtime by having to do all their tangles. You're there enjoying it because they've got, they can cast it into whatever, and if they're enjoying themselves, regardless if it lands in a tree and they're laughing about it, and there's, the plethora of like lizards that live around the Gold Coast canals, following up the tree, trying to chase that lure. They're having fun, mate.
So that one there's got a snapper and a couple of flathead.
Yeah,
which
is
good.
Yeah, they're fantastic. These things are, even though I haven't cracked it, they're mackerel lollies out offshore.
Oh yeah.
So if you get out offshore, they're the go.
So stop flicking them around the estuaries. Is that what you're saying?
Unless you want to lose it to a big jack around a bridge. These are these long cast rapala things, which are great out off the rocks, especially coming into springtime. You'll probably get tailor out off the seaway walls and that sort of thing, or off the any of those big rock walls that face out off the coastline, out off Tweed. And what else? Tailor. And there has been tailor around, but those little metal
silver
lures,
bullet,
those little chrome things are fantastic.
I think there's a little weedless in there. I haven't had any luck with it, but I like that little mullet in there, in the middle.
Oh, these. Yeah, okay. So these. Oh, you do have your little weedless things set up, mate.
Yeah.
Jeez, you've actually got some good stuff in here. These things have done really well in the Flathead Classic over the years.
So I haven't been successful, but I can see it. It's got to work at some point, because that's a good one to fire in under. I've been trying to copy you, trying to fire it in under the trees.
Oh, mate.
And if I threw something like this over here, it's gone first cast.
Yeah.
Whereas they're fairly forgiving if you wrap it around something.
Yeah, there's an element of frustration that comes with getting that down. But yeah, it can be the way to go. And there's not a lot of fishermen that get it in there, so that's why I tend to try and hide my lures up into those spots where the fish don't ever see a lure.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that, Matty. That little thing there.
That probably needs new hooks. That one's a bit
definitely needs new hooks. That's disgraceful. But that little thing there is just a little 1.5 metre diver, and that's made by Eco Gear. Any little diving lure like that coming into winter, you troll that around the edges of the weed beds and the sand flats down in the Broadwater, and you'll pick up a feed of flathead.
Yeah, righto.
One of the tastiest fish swimming, I reckon. Humble flatty. But yeah, something like that this time of year coming into winter is the way to go, mate. Oh, good selection. Well done.
Yeah, nice. So,
I like that.
So what you're saying is it's probably the user, not the lures at this stage?
We'll wait and see. I still owe you a fish, mate.
Yes.
And I'm
I don't know if we're going to get it in.
It's not going to happen before we leave, but boy, yeah.
Where am I going to have to meet you?
Yeah, maybe Bamaga, right up the tip of Queensland would be nice. Okay. I reckon we're a sure thing if we can get right up the top there.
Sounds good.
Mate, I like that. What's in your box? You've got some great stuff. That's fantastic.
I want to see boxes from all around Australia from you.
I want to do something like that. I'm going to try and... There's a lot of people who have contacted me in the lead up to it. Really generous people offering me like stupid things like holiday homes, charters, boats and things for the kids to enjoy time with the kids out on their boats and things like that. Just amazing.
Nice.
There's an audience there that I never realised existed till we started talking about travelling, and they've come out. So I'm going to be getting in contact with people around the country and doing that stuff.
So 100%. Take us back March 2020. You're getting ready to go.
Yeah, so we were 8 weeks from leaving. Well, we thought we were. We didn't know how big a prep was required, but we were 8 weeks from leaving. COVID hit. And fully just put a spanner in the works, and we're like, all right, what do we do? And we decided to can the trip. This was as the lockdown started to come in. We're like, okay, we need to step back. And
it wasn't even state by state at that point. They weren't closing the state borders, were they? It was just everything was just starting to lock down. It was just stay home.
Yeah, people weren't really sure how to respond, what to do, but we were sort of thinking long term, like, what if this goes south on us and keeps progressing? Where are we going to be at? And luckily, both Lauren and I are school teachers, so getting our jobs back was quite a simple process.
Yep.
But I've had some friends' horror stories that have come out of this that have kept travelling and just got stuck, but they got through it and still got it done.
Yeah, I was looking at a van there at the back end of last year. Because I've been looking. I'll admit I've been for a good 3 or 4 months there. My head was just I reckon I was gone.
Yeah.
May, June, I was gone this year.
Yeah.
And I've just got a new job, and I'm really excited about it. So
okay. So you're staying?
Yes. Yeah. For now. Yeah. It's been. I don't know whether I was unhappy at work or what, but I was watching all these people travel online. So the people that obviously kept doing it, and I was just like, that's me. I've got to go. I was really determined to try and do a lap before my youngest starts school and my oldest starts high school.
Yeah.
And I was basically going to sacrifice these last 6 months of primary school.
Yeah.
He may end up with, a gap year between primary school and high school now. Who knows?
Some of the best kids that I've taught have done the lap, or they've travelled with their family when they were younger, regardless of the year.
Yeah.
It's noticeable for me as a teacher to have those kids. Yeah, they stick out, the kids that have done the travel.
So I was looking at a van and they'd got stuck for like 3 months in one spot and ended up renting a house. And so I would say there's a lot of stories out there like that where some people obviously strategically,
still managed.
Like if you're on the northwest of WA, you probably had a good 6 months of pretty cruisy travel on there to yourself. But
it's going to be different now because everyone is going.
And that's when we started to realise we weren't ready to go, was that we were starting to see people say, oh, you've got to have everything booked 6 months in advance. And we're like, no, we're just going to ad lib. And then realise we're not close. So the Prado's not ready.
I saw the table, sort of the bull bar and tow ball hitched up there, and I thought, geez, maybe they're getting ready to go.
Well, the problem is you walk onto a caravan lot, and the first thing they say is, what are you towing with? And I said, 2009 Prado, and they're going, they don't want to talk to you anymore. Because the Prado's max out at 2.5 tonne. Which put us in the range of like, and I've got to sleep, me and this is 3 kids. So there's 5 of us. You're really in that Jayco expander market. And then I just couldn't quite find what I was after.
There's a lot in it.
And then you start going, if I'm going to spend this much, I might as well get that one. And then, we need to have a toilet and a shower. And then next minute it's, the Prado can't tow that. So the vans that we fell in love with, the Prado couldn't tow, and I couldn't afford to upgrade the car and get a van. So it was, I don't know, it's just jury's still out what we're going to do there.
And it's okay if the jury's still out, and then you give yourself time, and then you can start to get your head around it. And that's kind of what happened for us.
So you went back to school, basically?
Went back to school and just locked in. And look, my mindset at that point was like, I'm ready to go. I've done 11 years at the school. And I was like, I need this year. And then when COVID hit and then we had to start teaching remotely and set up things online, it got very busy very quickly. And the thing that saved me, Lauren turned around one morning and said, look, we're not going to go, but I'm going to give us 3 more months next year. So we went from 6 to 9 months. And my school was really good about it. And so from that point, when I heard that we were going for 9, that soothed the pain a bit. And we've prepped for 9. So we're going till the end of the year. So,
So do you want to go into what your setup or what you've done or what?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
So you're going to, what I like about your setup is it's going to be a good quality setup. But it's a realistic setup. I'm following people online and they've got a $250,000 moving setup. I'm like,
mate,
how do I can't
it's
have that.
out of control. So it can get out of control, and watching that can make you think that that's what you have to have.
And it's impossible to go otherwise.
It's kind of unachievable to do it at that. For me, I know it is, and for a lot of families, if you're talking 3 kids, that's for a lot of families, that is just not realistic and you're not going to go. So don't get overwhelmed by that. I've never been overwhelmed by the stuff that's pretty and shiny.
Yeah.
I've always sort of done stuff on a budget and just the best way that I can actually get it done. So even when I was, this for me dates back to when I was a kid, right? So I had $15 fishing rods.
Yeah.
And never needed anything more until I was mid-20s. And my first boat was made out of heavy-duty roofing with like silicone and fiberglass ends. It was like a bathtub, right? So I went from
homemade.
It was homemade pot rivets and silicone. And from that point, and I loved it and caught more fish than most out at Hinds Dam.
I'm sure you did.
On it. So that's sort of been a style that I've always gone, try to get what I can do to get it done.
Yeah.
And worry about the details later. But the details when you start a family, they still matter more than ever. So that's been the steepest learning curve for me.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things we started to look at and go, it's a bit of a luxury, but yeah, if we pull up in a van, it'd be good for the kids to just be able to have a rinse in the van.
Yep.
As opposed to, if you're out in the middle of the bush and no facilities, you want to be able to use a loo and stuff. So that's sort of what escalated the van requirements.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. What you need to go as a young fella and what you need to go when you got the kids in tow is two different things.
Yeah. So our setup is not the most expensive setup.
Yeah.
And this might be hard. If my wife hears this, it might be a difficult one for her to get past because I went for a smaller van to get a tinny on the roof of the car so we can fish our way around the country. And so we were looking at 16, 17 foot.
Yeah.
And I knew the towing capacity for a Hilux isn't great. They don't tow well. They can hold a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So they've got a big payload.
Yeah.
But they don't tow a lot. And they also don't have a combined mass, which is like the whole setup isn't high. So I had to be really dialed in onto what I could tow and what I could load. And the tinny on the roof has been a major player in shaping what we can do. So we've ended up with we've got a 14-foot caravan.
Yep.
It's a pop-top expander, so it expands a double at the front,
Yep.
2 kids bunked at the back, and it's got a pop-top.
So do the kids push out or are they're set in
They're
the
just
back?
set in there.
That's not a bad
no
setup.
toilet, no shower, baby. It's all outside and in the dark and whatever. It's going to be interesting. Could get very interesting.
And it's the faithful tinny on the roof. Your old faithful.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was the ticket for me. Like the key for me is to fish the way around the country. I've dreamt of that since I was a kid. So that if I was going to go, the tinny was coming, and I'm hiding a hell of a lot of fishing lures in that tinny somehow. But the weights are really important.
The things you're talking about, GCM, GVM, ATM, it's all a foreign language to people until you start looking into it. And then when you start looking into it, you're like, how are there not more deaths on the road? Because you see cars, like tiny little cars, pulling really big vans. And now that I've looked into it, I know that they're just not compliant.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you start to talk to people travelling and they're like, yeah, probably a good 90% of the vans on the road.
So that was the toughest hour when I realised that I needed one and didn't know, and then saw my weights and went over weigh bridges and then started to delve in and start to look at it. And I paid attention to it and did all my homework, and it was late nights looking at the maths and all of the capacities that you can take. For anyone who's looking to get into travelling, you want to check what you can do first and really look at those weights. And so I got to a breaking point, and then ended up working in with Paul from Petters Burley, and he sorted me out to get a GVM upgrade, and that's put us in the position. So the tinny's coming, everyone's safe, we've got upgraded brakes, and we're towing a small caravan, and it's all going to come in underweight.
I was sort of hoping to hear
close.
that there was a double B set up and the jet ski was going to be on the back of the...
Mate.
Put a tow ball on the van.
Yeah. Those islands out off Whitsundays and north of there would have been awesome for the jet ski fishing, but it's not going to happen this time around. But so that's basically the setup. There's a tinny on the roof of the car with a tiny little caravan, 2 kids in the back and my wife, and we're getting set, ready to go. And it's only 2 weeks away.
That is awesome.
It's a Hilux, so it's not a Land Cruiser 200. It's a humble old Hilux, but I've got the brakes and suspension sorted out, and the load capacities and everything.
So what threw me is that I thought we'd be fairly similar to a Hilux, but the Hilux has actually got another half a ton that they can is it payload and
Yeah.
like that? You can go 3 ton or even more,
Yeah.
depending on which model you've got.
Yeah, so you can load them up.
Yeah.
You can't tow a heap, but you can load them up.
Yeah.
And so what I did was, mate, I've spent time on the phone to Toyota. I've been on the phone to everyone trying to work this out, and it's very difficult. That's why there's a lot of people out there that are overloaded, don't even know, and they're in a sticky position if anything does happen. So that's why I've sort of my suggestion to the guys that are following my channel and that sort of thing now, anyone that asks me, is you just want to check and find out where you're at.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks heading off. Which direction?
We're going north.
Going north.
And we're going north. We've got a Cape trip organised.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is we're going north just after Easter, which is, so April, May, to get some of the Barra runoff.
Yeah,
so
right.
the Barra are firing right now. They've had a big wet season. And like anywhere, we've had a heap of rain here on the coast.
It's been miserable.
It's been horrendous, but there is some fantastic fishing that's going to come on the back of that. It'll probably take a little while, but the huge rains that we've had down here, the best fishing is yet to come, and it's going to come in the next 12 months. But up north, the Barra are firing, and it's looking like a good season.
Yeah, nice. Can we get into, what can we expect from the channels? Like what if we get into like the technical side of running my lure box and the YouTube and the socials?
Yeah, we can talk on that for sure.
What insights can you give us there? Because you've been at it a fair while, and you've got a good following, but it takes a lot of work too, right?
Yeah. So I'll try and give you a short story. It's been nearly a decade now that I've been running my lure box, and prior to that, I was running something called the Jack Guide, which was mangrove jack fishing.
Yep.
And it's been a growth that's I've just learnt a lot over the time. So initially, I was posting inconsistently, not paying attention to anything, not replying to comments. I was just throwing videos up just because I made them. And I was sitting on Facebook, and then I realised that if you wanted to go anywhere with building a community, there was that consistency.
Yes.
And so fast forward from about, I was doing it for about 2 or 3 years, just casually throwing stuff up, and there was a small following comparative to where I am now.
Yep.
And I went for consistency and went for engagement to build something. And the community now there's 30K on YouTube and 44 across Facebook, but it's really the community, the engagement on that page that has been the most fulfilling thing. And now it's in the last, as we plan to leave, I've realised how fantastic doing a social media channel really can be for just the way that you become part of a community. And if you're the one producing the content, then it makes it really fun and gives you a chance to meet people that you otherwise wouldn't have had the chance to, and start relationships with people that really have your best interests in mind. Yeah. So the last 6 months has been mind-blowing, especially the last few weeks. I've had phone calls from people that have given me the shakes, and I've had to pull my car over because of what they've talked to me about, and the way they've offered their help has just been unreal. So there's 350 odd videos. There's a whole lot of cognition that's just been removed from my existence because of the late nights of video editing. I've got to be straight up with you. Like, probably 2 nights a week I don't go to bed before midnight, and I'll put 5 hours in after everyone else in our house goes to bed just editing. So there's a lot of work involved.
I was going to say, I know how much, like I lose Monday night.
Yeah.
So I record on a Monday afternoon, or now we're doing it at night time.
Yeah.
So by the time I get inside, hopefully I'll get the pod up.
Yeah.
Because I like to get it out so that people can listen on their way to work on a Tuesday.
Perfect, yeah.
And then Tuesday night or at some point launch the YouTube video. But it takes, I barely edit, but just the time to drop my logo, drop the theme song, and a little bit of stuff in there. I know how long that takes me. Yeah. And I tried to do like an amateur, like just me and my mates fishing. I was like, it took me days. Yeah. I did a little video for we went to Strative as a family. It took me forever to put that together because it's not just, the editing for this is easy. And then I think, wow, how much time are you spending? Yeah. And look, if you're not catching any fish, it's difficult to put a video together. Yeah. So sometimes you got to race out and run another video. I get very flexible, but
the late nights and the just plugging away at the computer, there's only one way that it really happens if you absolutely love the engagement and building a community and what you're doing. So that for me, that's the only thing that's managed to keep it going for so long. And the giveaways I've been running, the photos and the comments coming back from dads and mums and their kids, I've realised that that's the thing that's going to keep me going for another 10 years. Yeah.
Is it going to be easier because you won't have any marking to do the other nights of the week?
Yeah. So because I'm not working for the next 9 months, the amount of content that I'm going to be able to produce will be more, but there's going to be a not a strict balance, but a really mature balance about when we go away. I'm doing this for my family, and I'm bringing people along for their enjoyment. But I'm doing it for my family, my kids, and my wife. We want to do it to get closer. Yeah, that's good. So that's the priority, and the content can come behind that. And I think if you have those focuses right, like for me, fishing's my passion. So if I make it about the fishing and the adventure, then the videos that I can share are a better product if you get your priorities right and it falls behind it.
I find it funny, like you got to get the missus to, hey, can you get out of the car and just run up 100 metres up that way and record me coming towards you? Like, you want me to do what? Yeah, we're on holidays. So get out and open that gate and I'll film you doing it.
Yeah. I hope my wife's not listening, but sometimes they can be more difficult than kids and animals. Oh, just chasing fish is a simple thing compared to some other ways of doing some of the videos. That's for sure.
So no doubt there's lots of fishing rods, lures, gear going.
Yeah.
Is there a kayak going?
No
kayak.
No.
But take me on the technology path, because this is a bit that I'm sort of interested in the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
How much room are you taking up with tech? So with GoPros, drones, mics. What are you running?
There's about a 60-litre box that I've got, and I'm going to try and dwindle that down. But if you were looking, for anyone who's listening that's thinking about doing a trip and capturing it and editing on the way, this has been like having the 10 months put back from our trip.
Yeah.
In that time, Apple, which I use a iMac at home, which is a beast, and it's a 40 gig of RAM. It's completely jacked up to give me some power to be able to edit and do it fast. But Apple have just released an M1 chip laptop, and it comes in a MacBook Air and a Pro, and I bought that about 3 months ago, and this thing just kills everything that I've used before.
Has that got the Apple chip instead of the Intel chip?
That's it. The Apple M1 chip. So the tech it all came about, and I was like trying to tell Lauren that I needed to take a wall-mounted 27-inch iMac in the caravan. And she was like, that is not happening. And then I heard about these.
Just lay it on the bed when you're travelling.
Yeah. So I had all these great plans to do it. But the laptop is the secret weapon to be able to get better editing done.
I don't reckon people would know how tech savvy you actually are, Johnny.
Mate, I was the last one at school to hand in a computer-generated piece of assessment as a kid. Yep. And it's all flipped pretty bad. Yeah.
So you've got this Frankenstein Mac that you've replaced it now, but that's what you've been running off for a while.
Yeah, it came up on Marketplace late one night, and I was down there in Bellingen, like south of Coffs Harbour or wherever it is, like 5-hour journey the next morning before 9 o'clock to go and get it, because it's not often that something that jacked and that reasonably priced comes up.
Yeah, this is the old one.
The old one that I've got sitting there. Yeah. But this new, small, tiny little it's a 13-inch MacBook Air, kills it.
Yeah, wow.
So, and awesome battery power, so you don't have to, if you're in a caravan, then you can just run it all day and edit all day, and you can still get it done. So there's the drone, there's, dome cameras, couple of GoPros, and then a few, monopods, tripods, and we've just bought a really nice DSLR, like a mirrorless DSLR, to capture just some better stuff and make sure we've got stuff for the kids that we can look back on that's going to be, pretty jamming quality.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So there's a bit in it.
So what about tech in the van? Have you got the off-grid set up, or what are you running, generator or batteries? Or
we're not going for a generator, so this has been one of the big conversations that I've had, and it came about from a guy who sort of watched some of my videos over the years, saw that we were leaving, and I got a phone call from from a company. And look, this is funny because this is the first time that any of this stuff has ever happened to me, where I've had sponsorship proposals go out and other people, make contact and
that's been by choice a little bit to keep your
Yeah.
lure of views pure.
yeah, that's right.
If that's the right word, but
Yeah.
you've tried to keep that agnostic view to all of your lures so that you could be completely open with people. But while you're traveling, you may as well work with some good companies.
Yeah, so because I was reviewing fishing products, I kept out of the sponsorship circles in the fishing world.
Yeah.
And then looking into touring, there were some real big ticket items. So if you want to go lithium batteries, if you want to go big boat loader systems for your tinny on the roof, or even looking at an upgrade for your GVM was to me a big ticket item.
Yeah.
That's when I reached out and people reached out to me that had heard about it, and it's come around. So I've had people come and make contact with me that's just unreal. So
can you reveal what are you running?
Well, I haven't even had the conversation with the guys
Yep.
about revealing and plugging, but we might as well do it and we can talk about it, because to be fair, like Dave from Revolution Power Solutions has sat me down. We had lunch together, and he was basically like, Johnny, I don't need you to sell my stuff, mate. I don't need you to sell it. You just keep doing what you're doing on your channel, and it'll come out organically.
Yeah.
We don't need to hard sell. And that's been the conversation I've had with a couple of companies. It's really just blown me away, because for about 4 or 5 years early on, I was looking at, when am I going to crack this sort of like interest coming back the way I'd done close to 120 reviews of product, and nothing had really come in the other direction. And these guys that have started to support us to get moving, and actually really good product. And I wouldn't go after product myself unless it was something I was going to use. That's how I've sort of just kept things at arm's reach, happily to this point. But that's it. So I've spoken to Dave, and there's going to be lithium in the caravan, solar on the roof, and as much as we need to get ourselves around comfortably and spend time, in parks, but also off the grid, and finding our own little secret spot around the country where we feel like it's just us and the fish.
That's awesome. I cannot wait to follow you around Australia, and hopefully set off at some point in the future. Mate, you've been really helpful and supportive of the pod, so appreciate that. Thanks for coming in, because I know you're 2 weeks out and just very time poor at the moment. So thank you.
I love coming in, man. This is brilliant. This is brilliant.
Well, we might be able to get an update from you when you're somewhere.
Yeah, we'll do
one via Teams or Zoom or something like that. We'll find out where you're at. Mate, where can everyone find you? Not, I think most people know, but where?
If you go to My Lure Box on YouTube is mainly where I sit stuff. There's stuff on Facebook and very little on Instagram, although I've been told that I need to do more in there. It's sort of, there'll be videos going up on Instagram, Facebook. But
I think if you spend time on Insta, you'll dominate it. you are
got a new camera.
Perfect content for that. Mate, I don't think we had hats last time.
No.
I've got a hat for you.
Oh, wow. That's coming on the trip.
Jolie from Gripstar. Do you want to
Beautiful.
Pick a pair of socks?
Mate, I have seen these. Hey, the boys at school have been wearing these.
Yeah, I think Jolie might be, Joel from Gripstar might be doing something there with the kids down there.
Mate, they look fantastic. Yeah, the teachers in the staff room as well have been seeing them repping these.
Oh, I think
beautiful.
Ben Mahoney won a title in the boxing ring, repping the Gripstars. Okay. Mate, all the athletes, all the Titans are wearing these now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate, that's brilliant.
I wear them every day.
Yeah.
Just in my boot, feel better. Otherwise, your socks slip around and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm keen to try them, because if you haven't tried them, you don't know, I suppose.
Get amongst it.
These will be on tomorrow morning. First thing, mate. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, folks, that's episode 48. We'd love for you to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, and thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Matty.
Enjoy your travels, John, and we'll be following closely.
Beautiful.
Cheers.